welcome in to be our guest and getting help from Uncle Sam. And we are thrilled to have candidate Katie Britt. Katie, we are so pleased to have you here and to have a chance for all of your viewers out there to take a good look at the candidates.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about things that we know matter.
Absolutely. Virginia, thank you for what you'll do for the River Region. My husband and I are proud to call the River Region home and to raise our children here. And so it's great to be here with you today.
Well, we love our state and
Yes.
we love our country.
Yes.
I mean, Jack and I are probably the height of patriotism.
I love it. And that's what we need right now.
We do.
We
do.
And we should be teaching our children in school to love this country. It is
Amen.
the greatest country in the entire world. And our children need to grow up knowing that. And they need to know about the American dream. And that's working hard to achieve your goals and not living off government, handouts.
Handouts, that's
And
right.
which is what I see the Democrats working more and more for us to do, is pushing us towards socialism every
America,
single day.
We were built on hard work and we were built on families. We were built on God. This is one
Yes.
nation under God.
Absolutely.
And we are not socialist. We are a republic.
Right.
And that brings me, we had talked last week, Jack had talked with you about you have been the chief of staff for Senator Shelby,
Yes.
who has been an absolute godsend to the state of Alabama.
Yes.
You've been with the Business Council of Alabama.
Yes.
You have got massive experience in so many things. And I have to be very honest, that's one of the things that matters to me, because I don't want somebody who is doing nothing in Washington as a senator. I want somebody who knows how to navigate all of those
That's right.
paths, who knows who to talk to, who
That's
knows
right.
how to get something done. I don't want you starting from
No,
scratch.
that's right.
I want experience.
Yes, and also too, there's a difference too in just talking the talk. I am sick of career politicians
Amen.
who go around and round and round. They tell us what we want to hear, and they're more concerned with being Fox News stars than they are about getting something done. We need someone who's going to stand up for our conservative values, stand up and fight for them and not apologize for it, and someone who also knows how to move the needle on issues that are important to our state and to our country.
Well, one of those issues that we want to talk about today is our military.
Yes.
And we're here in Montgomery, so we have Maxwell Gunter, and I really question if people understand, Katie. We're talking a $200 million a day impact of those bases to our economy. And BRAC's going to be coming up.
It will.
So
It will.
You're the only candidate that I
am-
have talked to who is definite about how she feels on that.
Oh, absolutely. And you bring up such a great point, because it is not a question of if there will be another BRAC. It is when. And we need a leader who will fight tirelessly to make sure that our servicemen and women are in the best place possible, that we're doing every single thing we can at these bases here in Alabama to provide for national security, and that we're also laying a foundation, because they are such an integral part of the Alabama economy. They're economic engines, and we need somebody that will fight to protect them, and that candidate is me. Growing up outside the gates of Fort Rucker,
Right.
it's very
Right.
similar to here. You see firsthand every day the sacrifice of our servicemen and women. And you see that sacrifice is not just theirs, but it's that of their entire family. Because like so many people—
So true.
Yes. You sit next to their children in school. I remember, their parents would be gone, one of their parents, for months on end, and
know.
some not coming home. And you realize that ultimate sacrifice is one that entire family bears. And so our communities are different, and that we see that and we respect that. And we're going to fight to preserve that and make sure that these bases are strong and ready for the next BRAC, and that we fight every day to make sure they're in the best place possible.
And when we mention BRAC, what we're talking about, for those of you who don't know, is we're talking about a base realignment whereby some bases are being closed.
That's right, base realignment and closure, and unfortunately, everything is on the table. Everyone is on the chopping block, and you've got to make sure you have elected leaders who are respected, who can work with people, and that know how to make sure that we are best positioned for success in that process.
Well, and like you said, not somebody who will just sit by and say, well, if that happens, then that just happens.
Yeah, it's not my problem.
That's not my problem.
It's absolutely your problem as a leader in the state of Alabama.
Other candidates have not shown the determination and the caring that you are showing when it relates to our military. And we've got to have somebody who will fight for our military. And
We
that,
have to.
That brings up another topic. When you talked a little bit about what went on in Afghanistan, this is not a military-run country.
That's right,
There
Virginia.
is a hierarchy, a procedure.
That's right.
And I love the fact that accountability. You mentioned accountability. Where do you stand on what's
and
occurring?
our leaders need accountability. Joe Biden needs to answer for the failures in Afghanistan and really across the globe. I mean, the message that he has sent to our soldiers. When I am talking to soldiers across the state, you can tell that people are concerned. They are concerned about, they have a lack of faith in our leadership, in Joe Biden. If you talk to our veterans, every generation, their youth is synonymous with a particular war or time in our history.
True.
For us, at 40, the last 20 years, it was so many of our friends and classmates that left their youth behind to go make sure that we were protected and free. I mean, if we rewind to September 11th, 20 years ago, and you remember the fear that we felt, that we weren't safe on our own homeland, I want to make sure that our veterans know that served in Afghanistan that their service was not in vain. They kept us safe and they provided hope in a region where there was never any before that. And so despite the failure of Biden, who needs to be held accountable for what he has done, I want to make sure that our servicemen and women know that we owe them a great debt of gratitude.
Well, I love the fact that when we talk about one of my favorite words, accountability.
Yes.
And then I would like to touch quickly on, where do you stand on the Space Force? Because the war, Katie, is already being fought in cyber.
Yes.
We have already made the transition. So
We
the
have.
Space Force, you've got Huntsville, you've got Air University here,
Yes.
you've got Delta 13 with the Space Force here.
Where
do you
I am
stand?
so impressed with how far ahead you are on all of this. That's one thing. We have been fortunate over the years to have leaders in the state of Alabama that think down the road and around the corner. And this is one of those times where we've been saying the next generation war will be fought in space. Well, guess what? It's here. It's here. And the things that we are doing in the state of Alabama to prepare and protect, our country it's really incredible. We've got to make sure, though, that we put the amount of resources that we need into that so that, and if you think about how dependent we are, as a nation and as a state and connectivity and how easily that could be cut off and what that would do to, to our just daily life and the amount of chaos that would cause, we have to make sure that that's what we're thinking about. And there are people in this state that are putting a lot of energy and research and making sure that we are prepared for what is already here. Because make no mistake, China
Absolutely.
is most definitely preparing as well.
They are, and they are going to be ahead very quickly. And we have got to put the support economically and otherwise behind that.
We do.
And I am so thrilled that you understand, you get it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and thank you so much for being with us and for being somebody who'll stand up for our country,
Yes.
hold people accountable, and support our military. And Katie, we'll have you back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and we'll be right back.